Hello, and welcome to Game 20 of the Real Racquetball Show. I'm Mike Wedel, Executive Director of USA Racquetball, joined by our co-host, Maurice Miller. Welcome, Maurice.
How are you? Good, and yourself, man? Everything okay?
It's going good. Good. Yeah. Beautiful day here in south of Kansas City. Sunny and warm. It stopped raining, so we're good. How about you?
Hot. It's Georgia. Hot. Clouded is hot.
Because you're just outside of Atlanta, right? Or in Atlanta?
Yeah, just right outside of it. But the weather's pretty much the same. Just all sun, hot.
Just hot.
Sunny Georgia.
Well, it is that time of the year. So
yeah.
Well, let's just jump right in. We have some really cool news. I want to thank and congratulate Maurice. He is the newest USA Racquetball Board of Directors member as of the May board meeting. Maurice was voted unanimously and approved as a new board member for USA Racquetball. So thank you very much and congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
That's cool. So just quickly tell us a little bit about what got you to decide you wanted to be on the board, and what are kind of your overall goal? What would you like to see done?
So for me, it was wanting to, I guess, grow racquetball, and figure out ways of which maybe my experiences or my input could hopefully impact someone. I mean, I've gained so much from the sport. And so if I can give that to one person or anybody, then I want to do something proactively about it. And so my thinking was joining the board of directors was a good opportunity. And so as long as racquetball is impacted in a positive way, that's all I hope to bring to it.
Fantastic. That's cool. I just love seeing people get involved that can help, and it doesn't have to be on the board. It can be in committees. There's a lot of different ways people can get involved and have an impact on how USA Racquetball works and how racquetball, what direction racquetball goes. What emphasis should we have? So, thank you. I really appreciate that. When I decided many years ago to get on the board, that was kind of my motivation. Was I can't just sit on the sidelines. I'm not good at just complaining. You got to come up and you got to get involved and help somehow.
Yeah.
I was running tournaments and such. So that's really cool. Appreciate it.
Yeah, that's how we got to meet Mike.
Exactly. It is. Exactly. And that's cool.
Yeah.
I've got so many people that, almost all the friends I have that I interact with on a regular basis are all racquetball people. So it's a huge part of my life, and always it has been for 30 years. So that's very cool. Okay, let's go on and jump into the show. We've got some really cool topics, couple special guests that we're going to bring on here in just a little bit. But I want to remind everybody that we have the Real Racquetball Champion. We've selected the June recipient. That will be announced in the upcoming newsletter. Watch for the newsletter. It should be in your email box around the 15th. So join us on Game 21 on June 21st, and we will have the new Real Racquetball Champion on the show. And I tell you, this recipient really defines what a racquetball champion is. This person has done so much work to grow racquetball, and I'd never heard their name before until a couple weeks ago, and I was just blown away. There's so many people doing so much cool work.
Yeah. That's one thing I do enjoy about this show is recognizing people that do contribute, because sometimes they get overlooked.
Yeah.
And I love it. I love when we bring them on and be able to talk to them and learn something new.
We've had some really fun winners so far that most of them are shy. They're not looking for the limelight, so you rarely know who they are. So it's kind of a cool aspect. So if there's someone in your area that's doing that kind of work that you feel is really making an impact on racquetball in your area, whether it's through juniors or programs or tournaments or whatever it might be, send an email to Connor Shane, which his email address is cshane, Shane, at usaracquetball.com. Nominate a Real Racquetball champion, someone in your area that needs to be recognized, even though they may not want to be.
Yeah.
So those are the ones doing the grassroots work. They're the ones growing the sport for us. So we really want to recognize them and give them a little bit of pat on the back. Our next segment's kind of cool. We're going to start something new that we really hope catches on. We can get a lot of people to participate in. We're going to do what we're calling the U.S. team video question. We would like anybody watching to send a question, send it to cshane@usaracquetball.com, and can be for adults, can be for juniors, doesn't matter.
Anything.
You can also have a question specifically for a coach.
Yep.
Anything about whether it's training or an experience they had in at a championship. You know, some of these athletes have traveled around the world playing for Team USA. Ask them a question about their game, whatever. It could be anything. We'll get that question to that athlete, get them to do a video answer for you specifically, and then we'll play it on the next Real Racquetball show.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like it'd be kind of a cool thing.
That's a cool idea, yeah. I mean, you never know. Let's say your favorite player is Mike Wedel, and you ask Mike Wedel. No, let's say you ask. Let's say you got a question for Sudsy or for Ron,
exactly,
or for Holly, you know, and you say, "Hey, Holly," or whoever, "What was your experience?" Or, "Hey, can you show me how to do this?" I think that's great, you know.
Yeah, I don't know if you recall, there was a photo taken. I think it was through national doubles, but it was a team qualifying photo, and Jose Diaz it looked like he was holding up Sudsy.
My shirt, yeah.
Yeah, it was such a cool photo, great photo, and I think Kevin took that. But it was such a great pose. I saw it scattered around Facebook quite a bit. So somebody could, how on earth did that happen? And you can ask the coach or someone and anything like that. So come up with a question, send it to Connor, and we'll see if we can reach out to that athlete and get them to do a video to answer that for you. Okay. It's good. We think it'll be a cool segment to get some of the coaches and players involved. All right. Moving on. Next, we have a special guest that I've known Dan for, I don't know, 20 years. Comes down to Kansas City to our tournaments. But we would like to welcome Dan Horner onto the Real Racquetball show. And there, Dan, welcome to the show.
Good.
Thank you. Thanks for joining us. And Dan Horner has just recently been named and approved by the USA Racquetball Board as the new USAR Rules Commissioner. Congratulations, Dan.
Congrats.
So, as the new Rules Commissioner, and I think everybody probably knows that Otto Dietrich was the Rules Commissioner for, 30 years. He was a long time. He's been a staple in racquetball forever and was the Rules Commissioner for a long time. He retired starting as of January 1st. So for the first time in 30 years, USA Racquetball had to go out and do a search for a new Rules Commissioner. And through that process, we had quite a few people apply for the position and went through an interview process, sample questions and answers. And in the end, Dan was selected as the new Rules Commissioner. So, Dan, tell us a little bit about what got you interested in wanting to be the Rules Commissioner and kind of how you got here.
Sure, thank you. Well, I've been playing for about 20 years, and it didn't take long after starting to play tournament racquetball before I got hooked, and just my son Benjamin has gone up through the junior ranks over the last 15 years, and I've enjoyed helping him get through that process and growing and everything. And over the last 6 or 8 years, after he's old enough now that he can do his own thing, I'm really getting into volunteering more and more and getting on different boards and whatnot. So I'm the president of the Iowa Racquetball Association, and about 2 or 3 years ago, I asked to be added on to the rules committee, and for the last 3 or 4 years, I've been shadowing Otto, and he had talked about that he would be retiring soon, and so I've spent as much time as I can soaking up some of the knowledge that he because he seems to know everything about the sport.
Yeah, he was a really well versed rules commissioner, but in the length of time he had in that position, he learned a lot about it. So you don't have to know all of it right out of the gate. You got a little bit of time to catch up with it. Let's see. I've got a question coming in. Go ahead, Maurice.
Since you became the commissioner, do you see any changes coming to rules or anything that you might want to clarify or change?
So we actually just went through this last summer multiple different rule rewrites. There were 2 significant ones, but most of the rules basically how it works is if membership wants to see something changed in the rule book, they just need to submit that request in writing to USA Racquetball, and those requests will come to the commissioner, and the commissioner will write up. They'll review the current rule and write up opinions on what needs changed in order to make it work in the rule book, and then those are reviewed by a committee of about 7 or 8 people.
Okay.
And as we go through that process, the executive committee of the USA Racquetballs becomes involved, and they have to vote on any changes. And then in the spring, I don't know if anybody remembers this or not, but we did a survey and asked people's opinion on those rules changes so that we could see what the general membership, what their vote was. It's not a binding vote, but we want to see what the what the public has to say.
Yeah.
And so anyway, we went through multiple different potential rule changes, and I don't foresee anything coming up anytime soon, but people are always welcome to continue to recommend things. So
cool. We had a question from one of the viewers. Mike Miller asked a question. The question is, when will all of the governing bodies of racquetball come together with uniform rules? Really good question. And I know from within board meetings, USA Racquetball is looking at or has been changing some rules to kind of bring some of those together. It's a little bit of a challenge just because they're all independent governing bodies that run all of them. But one of the rules that was just recently changed that you were describing, Dan, was the doubles serve rule.
Right, being able to leave the box as soon as the serve is struck.
Exactly, as opposed to USA Racquetball, the amateur rule was you had to wait until the ball crossed the short line. Well, now, since this last rule evaluation, it was changed. So as soon as the ball is struck, your partner can leave the box and move out, because that was a rule that most of the other governing bodies had already put in. So we want to make sure that the rules are as uniform as possible across all of the entities. So when we go compete internationally, or any of our players that play on the IRT or LPRT don't have a disadvantage because the rules are different. So
yes, we discussed that as a committee, and we try to, as much as possible, try to get all the different get our rules to match what the IRT and IRF's rules are. So and LPRT.
And there's several of them. I know there's still some that we're working on, but some of those people want to see them changed. As Dan said, submit it, put it in writing, send it in, and it will be evaluated and discussed, and then put out for the membership to to answer on in the survey. It's not really a vote, but we really want membership input into any kind of rule that ever changes in racquetball. So, okay. Well, Dan, congratulations again.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Really appreciate your stepping up for this role. It's going to be some big shoes to follow, but we think you've got what it takes to do that job. So thank you very much. And we will let you go. So,
Yeah, I want to say real quick.
Sure.
This is on the website, but if anybody has any questions, there's an email address that's been set up. It's rulescommissioner@usaracquetball.com.
Yep.
And I invite you all to send questions my way. So
Absolutely. Great. Thank you, Dan. Appreciate your bringing that up. I missed that, but go to the website, usaracquetball.com, rules commissioner at usaracquetball.com, and send Dan a question or send him something just congratulating him on his new position.
And we'll see you all in Des Moines in a month here.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Junior Nationals and the Adult Team Qualifiers.
Absolutely.
Thanks, brother.
All right.
That's awesome. I agree with JD. Yo, JD, send that question in, please. We need that jumping rule moved over from the IRT to USA Racquetball, so now you know where to send it.
Yeah, exactly. And I read the question, but I didn't exactly understand. What do you mean by jumping rule? Tell me what that means.
So in the IRT, like compared to now, if you jump regular amateur-wise, it doesn't matter. It's essentially as if you didn't jump. So if you don't clear, it could technically still be a penalty hinder.
Oh, for hinders and such. Okay.
Yeah. Whereas in the IRT, it's compared to where the ball is if you clear above it, you completely allowed to swing. And you're like the player has to shoot. Now, if you hit the person and they're above it, it's a replay. But if they hit the ball and it's either wherever the ball level is or below. If they contact you, it's obviously it's an avoidable. If it's down the line cross court, you got in the way.
Right. Oh, okay. Well, see, I don't play at that level, so that rule doesn't affect me.
Where punish is like, a short guy like me, I gotta jump high, so I gotta put more energy. But then when you're like, well, it doesn't count, I'm like, well, what was the point of jumping?
Good explanation. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Please.
That's why you're on here. I need help with those things. All right. So, good segment. I like Dan a lot. I think he's going to do a really good job, and I look forward to working with him. As he said, he's the president of the Iowa Racquetball Association, and we're going up to Des Moines to his home club for this championship next month.
Yeah.
So he's helping us a ton, trying to put all this together as fast as we are. Dan's been a wonderful help.
I wish
Everybody will enjoy meeting him.
Yeah, I wish him nothing but the best.
Yep. All right. Well, let's welcome another guest in, and this is a gentleman I just met a little bit ago. I've heard a lot about, and it's Geoff Osberg. We can welcome Geoff to the show.
How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Not too bad. Just kind of hanging out right now in the cold weather in California.
Can we switch climates like medium because I need a little bit of that.
Hey, don't worry. It'll be probably 90 next week.
Oh no, thank you. You got it. Never mind. You can have it.
Well, those that aren't sure who Geoff is the tournament director for the 2021 Team Root Outdoor National Racquetball Championships presented by ProKennex. So congratulations and thank you for all you do for racquetball as a whole. It's really cool. I've heard nothing but great things about the tournaments you run and all the work you do.
Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. Yeah, this is a great tournament. Me and my kind of like co-director, Jesus from New York, we've been running this thing for about 9 or 10 years.
Wow.
And it's been great. I mean, I wouldn't do it if I didn't enjoy it. Now, granted, it's stressful, as everybody knows, tournaments can be.
Yeah.
But it's so fun because you're outside the entire time.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to go wrong with that.
So outside of obviously being outdoors, what else can a player or someone who's coming expect from it?
Yeah.
I mean, for outside, I mean, you've got it's a 3-wall court, so you can see everything really, really easily, which is a key. So if you're a spectator, you don't have anything kind of blocking you other than other spectators.
That's true.
Which is, Also, it's really great to be able to see the difference between players who come from indoors strictly to trying outdoors for a change, which, you know, a lot of people now have done it in the past year because most of the clubs were closed. So it kind of forced them into doing something which for some people it's uncomfortable. But you watch them, especially the top pros, when they start playing outdoors and you see them, if they start moving through the tournament, you see how they're able to adapt their indoor game to the outdoor game. And it's pretty mind blowing when you see it, especially at that top level of like a De La Rosa or Alvaro or any of those type players.
Yeah.
So instead of it's just being Rocky kicking everybody's butt, which is kind of a normal thing, you've got these other guys that have now been playing for a while and they're phenomenal players. So it's super enjoyable to see.
So who are the players? Give me a male and a female player that you think isn't somebody all the indoor players might recognize that you think's got a chance to win the outdoor tournament.
They all know Jesus now because he's been playing with Rocky for a while, but that's somebody that most of the indoor guys they had no idea who that guy was.
Yeah.
And you see him and you're kind of like, who's this overweight guy? Like, I don't know who this guy is. And you watch him play and you realize he doesn't make mistakes.
Yeah.
You know, he does what he needs to do in order for him and Rocky to win, which means don't make mistakes.
Yeah.
And you watch him play and all of a sudden the other guys start giving him a little more credit for what he does because they realize, wait a second, he's not a hack. This guy actually knows this game really, really well. And for women,
they would probably kind of avoid shooting at Rocky much.
That's exactly it. They think they can pick on one guy, and then they realize, wait a second, we've got to actually pick on both these guys. We can't just pick on one guy because he'll start killing the ball and hitting shots that they're not used to.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's a high 2-wall or lobs or whatever it is, it's a different type of game. And that's what's kind of makes it really enjoyable is you get to see indoor guys playing against outdoor guys, and neither one of them, the outdoor guys know the indoor guys, but the indoor guys, they don't know the outdoor guys. So when they get on a court, they're kind of like, oh, we're going to steamroll these guys. And the next thing you know, it's the other way around. And you're kind of like, okay, nobody really saw that or thought that would happen, except for the outdoor guys that really know who they are.
Yeah.
You know, and it's what makes it really enjoyable. And as far as the women, I mean, Janelle Tissinger is really the outdoor indoor everything. She was one of the first really great crossovers. I mean, Michelle Key is obviously one of them because she's such a good racquetball player anyway. So she was able to pick it up really well. But Janelle's she's always one that I have as a favorite on the women's side.
Okay.
She's a fantastic player.
All right.
I did get to see Janelle play a little bit at 3-ball last year.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. That was a great event also.
Yeah. It's fantastic. It's 3-wall ball. The courts are a little bit smaller than they are in Huntington Beach. Huntington Beach, the courts are 23 feet wide, which is Vegas width, but they're also 46 feet deep.
Oh, wow.
So that's where you get to bring in that lob, which is basically the outdoor version of a ceiling ball. Okay. So when you get into trouble, you can do that. And if you ever watch you can go on YouTube and look it up. If you watch Rocky or any of these guys that are regular outdoor players, that's like one of their main shots. Just push people back until they get far enough back, and then you can just kill those corners, and that's it.
Oh, really?
So it changes things up. It evens it up a little bit when you have somebody who's a really good indoor player and they're playing against an outdoor player. You see, that's where things get evened out.
Yeah. Maurice, do you play any outdoor?
Never. I may have played like 6 times in my entire life. The closest court's 2 hours away. So when Geoff just said 46 feet, I'm like, oh, that's a lot of running.
It is. I don't play singles anymore. My body can't take it. But for doubles, it's still a lot of court to cover. And, you know, you've got to go out the side, too. So even if somebody hits a ball and they go 2-wall or they try what we call going out the door, you've got to go out there with it. And if you're not careful, if it clips that side of the wall and comes back in the court, oh, well, point over unless somebody covered it.
So essentially, I could sign up for like bees and compete, right?
You could sign up for anything. If you haven't played, you could play whatever division you want.
Right. See? Sign up next year. I'll sign up for bees because I can't. So now Geoff, if I did want to show up, are y'all still accepting like registration? Like when's
Yeah.
the sign up deadline?
Yeah. Registrations go through, I want to say July 3rd. That's how late we're going registrations. What we just did was, because we weren't sure how the food was going to work out this year because of COVID and what the city restrictions were going to be. Normally we do barbecue the whole week. It's great.
Oh, wow.
But this year, because of what's going on, we decided, you know what, we're going to do food trucks. So we're doing a different food truck every day.
Okay.
And because of that, we're actually taking money off the registration fees.
Okay.
Yeah,
So just to kind of make up for that, you know.
Yeah.
I saw somebody put a comment in that says Huntington Beach has the best barbecue setup of all events.
It certainly does. It does. When it's not a COVID situation, it's perfect.
Yeah. And you know, being from Kansas City, barbecue is really, really important.
Oh yeah. I mean, we got guys from Dogs, which is a restaurant owned by a guy that's been a long time outdoor player. And his guys come out and they grill. But again, we might get him to come out and do a little bit, but we'll see how it works out. We might be able to sneak him in, you know, get him under the radar.
All right, you might get me to come out next year then. Okay.
Oh, it's
all right.
It's believe me, you'll have the best time you've ever had at a racquetball tournament.
And I understand the courts are in a pretty good location.
Oh, they're great. They're on a park, so it's a huge park. Everybody puts up easy ups for the weekend. Just everybody's having a great time. Yeah. So people that we haven't seen all year, everybody hangs out. We all go out at night. We all go to different restaurants at night, hang out. It's just a real fun party atmosphere. And you'll hear more smart talking from one person to another than you've ever heard in your life. The crowd will actually start heckling the players on the court while they're playing. So if they miss a shot, it's loud and you'll hear it. And it's the funnest thing ever.
Oh, so we don't have that indoor. Yeah,
that sounds like fun.
It's just part of the game. It's part of the game. People playing don't get mad. The fans don't get mad. They just know that's how it is.
Wow.
It's all in fun.
Bees for sure at this point. For sure.
It sounds like a ball. Well, I think it's I've got a little bit more work to. I've got a meeting tomorrow morning, kind of wrap it up. But I'm going to plan to come out and spend a few days at your tournament this year.
Oh, hey, you're going to have a great time.
Cool.
You'll have a great time.
People keep telling me that it's the place to be, and I've really grown to love, you know, more and more of the culture of outdoor. I've played indoor my whole life. I probably played less outdoor than Maurice has.
Yeah.
And I liked it at the time. It just wasn't something I don't know. I just don't do it. I play indoor. That's just what I. Right. So, but I love the culture, and I really want to come out and spend some time. So I think I'm going to spend a few days and set out. We may bring a tent, and if it's all right with you.
Oh, of course.
Bring out some water bottles or something fun we can just give away to everybody.
We'll even let you sit in the Camp Ham and Egg easy up.
Well, I might bring a USA Racquetball War easy up. How about that?
That would be perfect. You can do that too.
All right.
That would be awesome.
Fun. That's awesome.
Well, I've got a little bit of work to do tomorrow, but that's what I'm working on. I'd love to come out and spend some time. You know, who wouldn't want to go to Huntington Beach, California?
Oh, summertime is perfect. It's perfect.
Well, Geoff, before we go, do you want to give a shout out to some of your sponsors? Are there some people helping you run this tournament you'd like to talk about?
Yeah. You know, first I'd like to, thank obviously Jesus, Dorsey, who pretty much runs the tournament desk for the week. She's fantastic. We're known for being a tournament that's on time, and that's part of the reason why. Yeah. Also, I'd like to thank Team Root being the title sponsor. Obviously, Melissa's, who's been a longtime sponsor for us. ProKennex, Gearbox is the ball we're using this year. So I want to let everybody know that is the ball this year. Along with the other racket companies, Head's going to be part of it, obviously. The IRT is going to be part of it this year, LPRT. A ton of other sponsors. We're still working on a few more. So I'll have to hit you back the next time and throw a few more in there for you.
Well, and I'm guessing you're going to stream all of it?
Oh yeah, everything's going to be live streamed. We're also working on some outdoor guys to get on there so they can give a little more better description of the game as it's going on. So everybody will understand a little bit more. They'll get the little nuances and little things about certain players and what stuff they like to do and what they don't like to do.
All right. Well, it sounds like a lot of fun.
It is.
well, we want to thank you very much for taking time to come on here and chat about
Of course.
your event.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of excitement around it, and Randy's from the club I play at, so I get to spend a lot of time, and he's a great supporter of racquetball, and I love to see him spreading out a little bit and helping some of the outdoor tournaments around the country a little bit. So
yeah, and this is going to be a big one this year because we didn't have it last year, so we're expecting this to be a really big event this year, which is fantastic.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Best of luck. And if there's anything we can do, let me know.
Gentlemen. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Geoff.
All right. Take care, guys. Thank you.
You too.
Bye. That sounds like a ball.
Oh, man, that actually sounds fun. I haven't had, same like you, I haven't had much experience playing, obviously, but I did enjoy it. It's just, we just don't have courts around.
Yeah.
Next year might go out there and play that. That sounds pretty fun.
Are there any courts around there, outdoor courts, any of the parks or anything around where you are?
No, I literally, the closest court to me is about 2 hours away. Like, and it's on the campus of a college. There, there's 3-wall courts, but they're like built different. And so they're not gonna be well taken care of. It's on a college campus that doesn't really promote it. But yeah, I know. I wish I could play because it looks interesting. I've watched the stream of 3-wall ball past 2 years, a little bit of international. So I'd love to play it. I can't.
Yeah, that's tough. Well, and it's odd because in the Kansas City area, there are, I don't know, 4 or 5 different locations that each have 2 courts.
Yeah.
And they've got a great group of people that they just get on social media and text and say, look, we're all going to be at this location at 3:00 tomorrow. And they just 10 or 15 people show up and play outdoor and the music going. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I don't go play. I really need to. I keep telling them I'm going to. It's just, I don't know. I just haven't committed to it yet, but I really need to because I'd love to go out to California and play something like that or Vegas and something other than just watch. All right. Well, we're kind of running on overtime here, so we probably ought to move along. I want to welcome Connor Shane onto the show.
What's up, guys?
Connor, welcome to the show again.
What's
getting to be a real regular.
I know. Well, we got a lot of national events.
We may have you on the intro video before we have Maurice on there.
Probably not wrong. Probably not wrong.
Just kidding. But we've been, for everybody else, it's not really an inside joke. The intro video, we're working to get Maurice included on that as he's the permanent host here now. Yeah. And we've had some challenges with it. And we thought we were going to have this show. We were going to have the new video, but we didn't. So we apologize, but we will.
It's hard getting this in there, man. It's got to be special. It's got to be special. I understand.
We can't do it halfway. It's got to be all the way or not at all. All right. Well, Connor, thanks for joining us. We've got a couple things we want to talk about. One of them, if you want to tell everybody about the announcement that was made earlier with APS Nike, new partnership with USA Racquetball, and kind of the big question we've gotten from a lot of the people is it's APS Nike. Kind of explain what that relationship is and why it's APS Nike and not just Nike or just APS.
Yeah, no. So APS Nike's Athlete Performance Solutions. They're based out of Portland, along with the other 2 headquarters. Nike's up there, Adidas is up there in Oregon. And they're the official licensee, or they're a licensed distributor of Nike products. So they're allowed to use the swoosh. They're allowed to word mark things. We're wordsmithing a logo right now that's approved by Nike. That's why it's taking quite a while. Those processes are a lot different. But the benefit to that is that they work with some of the smaller sports and they work with NGBs, where Nike sometimes only will work with some of those top tier events or top tier organizations, stuff like that. The difference with the licensees and the distributors is that when they get into that market, they're able to provide us with a lot more incentive without, a year and a half of negotiations. So becoming our apparel provider, the company right now works with 7 or 8 different sports and about 5 or 6 different official governing bodies, Olympic governing bodies, which is benefit. They know how we work. They know how our national tournaments work. They know what it means to outfit a national team. They know what it means to get prototypes for photos before we name the team. They understand all these processes.
Mm-hmm.
So APS Nike is a great choice. The ones we picked with over some others, and they work internationally as well. So they're the eyewear distributors in Slovenia, Czech Republic, and a few other places, which is going to be a benefit to us. As our relationship grows with them, it's a 4-year contract.
Mm-hmm.
And as that relationship grows, we're really going to look at potentially leaning on them to help evolve our side of the sport, right? Whether it's shoes that are specifically designed for us or eyewear that's designed for us, stuff like that. So,
well, that's interesting. And that makes sense, because it'd be really hard. Nike deals with NFL teams, NBA teams, those type of level of sport. It'd be really hard to get them to really give us the time of day as racquetball, but they license APS, and APS stands for
Athlete Performance Solutions.
Yeah. So it's going to be a fun relationship. And I know that they're working on our store, and it should be ready to win.
So it should be in the next week or two. We have some prototypes. Stuart, if you want to throw that up. So the store is going to be one of my favorite parts. It's going to have, the high quality Nike gear, everything from your t-shirts to the dry fit to the hoodies. The backpacks are going to be on there. I'm super excited for the backpacks and the hats. And it'll, have our swoosh on there and the logo and everything like that. That'll be available on our website. You'll just click on it. It'll go through APS. And APS is based out of Portland, like I mentioned, but they will handle all shipping and distributing and stuff like that.
And my understanding is the reason it's taking a little longer, we thought it was just going to be a week or so, is they're working on some multicolored logos as opposed to just the solid, right?
They are, yeah. And it's the issue with that is we try our best to make sure that the logos don't get bastardized at all.
Right.
And so they do a very good job of making sure that colors, show up appropriately on the shirts and the equipment and the products. And so a big one for us, is sometimes colored logos don't show up on the good colors, right? Like a red logo background doesn't show up on a red t-shirt very well. Right. So they're doing their best to make sure that they can adjust the logo as much as possible without actually breaking our branding guidelines.
Right. Okay. Well, that's exciting. I'm anxious for them to get that set up and push that partnership out there for all of our membership to take advantage of.
Agreed. I'm excited to have that, and then in addition to that, the piece you mentioned about the adult team is we're going to have both the men's and the women's line included, but also the national team will be outfitted in Nike gear. Right. So they have a package prepped.
Ready for that one.
To that incentive, Maurice. You better work your butt off.
I want it.
Good, but the package will include, a full patio, a full podium package, right? It'll have your warm ups, gear in their shirts, shorts, a backpack included, stuff like that. And so we're gonna make sure that all that looks good, and it'll be a different design every year, right? So you can, it'll be a unique to just you.
If you so you just want me to keep coming back each year? That's all I heard right there. I got you. Say less. I got you.
Absolutely. All right. Well, that's good news. I appreciate that update and information, and everybody kind of stay tuned. Should be by the next show, by the June 21st show. We hope to have the store open so we can bring it up and show a little bit of the products and how to process through the system.
Yep.
Okay. Well, we're running a little bit late on time, so Connor, give us a little bit of an update on the National Junior Championships and Adult Team Qualifying. Well, there's just a couple things that we're working on that have changed a little bit, and you can give kind of an update on where we're at.
Yeah, so that one, again, we're excited to be able to host some sort of a hybrid event right after a very long time of confusing national events, trying to figure that out. But this event is going to be nice. I like it. I'm excited. Des Moines, they're excited to have us come. It's going to be a little bit warmer, but it'll be all right. It's in the summer. The junior event is going to be the standard junior national championships. I had a few questions about whether or not we were going to offer those additional divisions, and we're not. The additional divisions we had at the festival were the recreational divisions that were going to be, over at Veta West. Those we don't have enough courts. So we don't have enough courts and not enough days to be able to host that this time. It'll just be the standard junior championships, and then in addition, adult team qualifying singles and doubles. So we did have a early registration discount that ends on June 28th. And then July 5th is the final entry deadline. So we're about 35 days out, I think. So make sure you get those registrations in. The hotels are booking up pretty quickly. If you have any issues with the hotels, email Group Housing or just shoot me a message. I've got a direct line of contact to Group Housing's owner. And if there's a major issue, let me know. Whether it's I had a couple issues with an ADA room request. We got that covered pretty quickly. But otherwise, Des Moines, I'm excited to go to Des Moines. Everything's right there. The hotel's connected to the venue, the restaurants nearby. Those that didn't go out of business or seem to be making up some of their revenue. So they're excited to have our events and stuff coming. So,
and downtown Des Moines, for anybody that hasn't been to Des Moines, it's just a really pretty city. It's right next to a river. So you can walk from the hotel to the club and restaurants, and there's things around there to do where you don't necessarily need a car. You can take an Uber or somewhere if you want to go out and about. But Des Moines is a really pretty, very accessible city. So, and the discounts you mentioned, again, is $20. There's off your first entry. So take advantage of that. There's no reason to pay that. Sign up early, get on the list. We had some news today. We don't have absolute confirmation about some of the COVID protocol stuff, and I know you're working on an announcement on the COVID protocols. But tell a little bit about what we found out today that I think everybody's going to be excited to hear.
Yeah, the COVID protocols are something we're trying to watch very closely, right? It was one of the pieces that made the festival very difficult to deal with, and that we're all still trying to work on, right? Because there's lots of states right now, they're still dealing with regulations. So right now for the junior championships and adult team qualifying, masks will not be required during play, and they will not be required in the venue. There's, as of today, the spectator limit just got released. So there's no limit to spectators. So when you come, you'll be able to come in without a mask. Those fully vaccinated don't need to wear a mask. Those without it, it's recommended, but it's not required. And that will be on some of the announcement that I send out.
Right.
So no spectator limits, no mask limits. We'll keep you updated, but for the most part, there's zero information right now that seems like it's going to go backwards. So even if I have a hint of that, I'll happily say that. But as of right now, there's not a lot. There's nothing that says that we might be scared it's going to back up a little bit.
And something, as mentioned, Dan Horner, is the president of the Iowa Racquetball Association, just typed a message into the comment section. Wanted us to remind everybody that there are skywalks around downtown that are all air conditioned. So you can go walking around downtown through the skywalk system and never even have to go outside.
It's not a bad option.
Cool. Yeah, I know they've got those up in Minneapolis, and I've seen them in Des Moines when I go to Des Moines fairly frequently. So I hadn't thought about that, so I appreciate Dan pointing that out for us. Very cool.
Yep. Other than that, that announcement will come out probably in about a week, Mike, just so everybody has the definitive paper announcement of all the COVID protocols we're going to follow.
Yeah. So we want everybody, the juniors, adult team players, get entered, take advantage. It sounds like the COVID concerns have been alleviated. We're ready to get back to playing some championship racquetball. And I know everybody's excited to watch championship racquetball. Every tournament we've had, everybody's really excited and watching a lot of it. Well, we're putting a lot of emphasis and investing in the streaming process for this event. We're having 2 full streaming teams in Des Moines, so we can stream the juniors and the adults. You don't have to pick and choose. You'll be able to pick which match you want to watch, whether it's juniors or adults, whatever. We're going to offer all of it up. You can just pick and choose who you want to watch play. Mm-hmm. So we know that since the system doesn't involve all the adult amateurs, we want to make sure that they're able to watch all the competition. So we're putting a lot in that. One last thing on that is that we're still working on the Saturday night
Event.
Award ceremony.
Yeah. So in the past, it's been an award ceremony and a banquet. That's not in the cards this year. The event will be there, right? The awards that we're going to have will definitely be there, but the full banquet it's out of our budget this year. We're still recovering from about 15 months straight of some revenue hurt, but we are going to do something. Right. So I'm working with Dan Horner, and I think we've got a pretty good option actually to go move forward with. But we will have something there that's strictly dedicated to recognizing those juniors and the award recipients for that night, and it'll be a come and go kind of thing.
Good.
Sweet. Okay.
Other than that, I think that's the last update I have for you guys. If you have any questions, shoot me an email. No problem.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate you coming on the show and
I
giving us some updates.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
Good
sure.
stuff.
See ya.
All right. Well, we just keep working on things like this, and I think this is going to be a fun event.
Yeah, I think the big thing is the confirmation of, or the more positive talk about no masks and the spectator limit. So at least if parents obviously want to support their children, they can, or anybody who wants to support the juniors can come and watch it or watch whatever match they want.
Absolutely.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's good. And I love seeing that all over and everything. I go to the grocery store now and don't have to wear masks and all of that. It's one of the things I noticed that really is cool. You can see people's faces again.
Yeah.
And just walking around. It's odd. All you saw were masks. You saw their eyes, and that was it. So it's really kind of fun to be able to travel around, see people's reaction stuff again. So I'm thankful that we're seeing some light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, me too.
So, all right. Well, that pretty much wraps up our show. I want to thank everybody for viewing it. It did go a little bit long, but that was some really good information. Be sure and join us June 21st for game number 21. Anything you want to add or anything we say before we go?
Email Real Racquetball Champion nominations to C. Shane at usaracquetball.com. If you've got any questions, please feel free to email me. Suggestions, ideas, questions. Hey, Maurice, your light isn't bright, which I get about 5 every show I do. And that's okay. I appreciate it. That's why obviously y'all see me brighter now. Send them to me or Mike. And if anything, please send us a Team USA video questions. And I think that's everything, Mike.
I think so. If any question that you might have that you would like USA Racquetball to answer, you now have a board member, Maurice Miller, on the show, and myself. So we will answer any questions we possibly can. We love to get those questions from you. So send them in. You can send them to either myself, M. Wedel at usaracquetball.com. Send them to Connor, C. Shane. As Maurice said, please send in some questions for the adult team, whether it's the players or the coach. We would love to reach out to those players and coaches and get them to do a video answer, and we'll be sure and give you credit for the question. So without any further ado, thank you all so much for joining us. We hope you enjoyed the show and got some good information out of it. If you have suggestions or ideas, please send them to us. We're always looking to make the show better.
Absolutely. Share the feed so everybody else can watch it too.
Share the feed. Good deal. Yep.
Thanks, Mike.
All right. Awesome. Thank you, Maurice. Enjoy your warm temperature. All right.
You
Have a
too,
good night.
Bye.